Juniors, seniors.
Juniors, seniors. Okay, cool. So this is like prime time for you guys to apply. So basically, Young Arts is a national competition. We are considered the most prestigious national competition for high school artists from across 10 different disciplines. And the competition is from grades 10 through 12 or ages 15 to 18. If you overlap, so this is something people get kind of confused, is that there can be some overlap. So let's say you are 14 years old, but you are a sophomore, you can still apply. If you are 18 years old, but you are a freshman year of college, you still can apply. So those overlaps, it's a and rather than an or, right? So we go across 10 different disciplines, but since we're in the cinematic arts class, I'm going to stick to film. But if you also are interested, we also have writing, voice, jazz music, classical music, theater, dance, photography, visual arts, and design arts. So if you have any questions about that, I know some of you guys might be some writers and you guys want to focus on writing, I can answer some questions about that as well. So basically, we are an organization that is committed to supporting you and giving you career support throughout the rest of your life. So it starts in high school, but it doesn't end in high school. I was a winner in film in 2016. And since I won, actually the most benefits I got from Young Arts were after college. And I'm going to list them off a little bit. So I won, and there's 3 different levels. We have honorable mention, merit, and finalist. So if you win in each of these levels, then you are eligible to go to what is called our Young Arts Week, where Young Arts flies you out, all expenses paid, to either Miami, which you guys are in, Miami, LA, or New York, where you have a week long full of amazing master classes with guest artists, and you are just basically in like a mini film school. And a lot of the information that I learned while I was in Young Arts Week, I pretty much regurgitated in my film school interview. I went to FSU Film, by the way. And so I regurgitated that information to the interview. I saw the faculty eating it up. So it definitely helped me out in my college application for sure. And so basically, you're in a week-long program where you get to meet a whole bunch of other artists from different disciplines, do a bunch of amazing workshops, work with awesome guest artists. I know I was a resident advisor for Young Arts Week in LA, and we got to work with Oscar winners. And I remember like they passed around an actual Oscar for us to look at. And I just thought I got a little emotional. But so basically, you just have like a week full of fun and like being with your peers and doing what you love to do and learning a lot. And then from there, that's when Young Arts really starts to take off, because then after the week-long journey that you have with Young Arts, now you're a part of Young Arts alumni. And so what comes with that is that you are now a part of what we call Young Arts Post, which is basically a website that shows a whole bunch of different opportunities, where it is either employment opportunities, residency opportunities, what the biggest thing that we have, which is our micro grants that Young Arts gives out $15,000 every month for creative micro grants or COVID emergency micro grants, which happens now. So for the COVID emergency, let's say something happens with COVID or something emergency related due to the pandemic, you can ask Young Arts every month to pay for your bills, to pay for, if you're behind on things, like they will help you out. And then on the flip side, we have the creative micro grants. So let's say if you want to make a film, either a feature or a short or a documentary, and you need some funding help, you can apply to the Young Arts micro grants. You can apply once every month if you don't get it. And once you get a grant, then you get 1 grant a year. I have received 2 grants so far. One of them was to help buy me a new laptop, something as simple as that. And then the next one was to help pay for travel expenses to go to the Telluride Film Festival. And if you guys aren't aware of the Telluride Film Festival, it's a very exclusive, hoity-toity festival. It's basically like the Academy summer camp. And so I applied to something called the Telluride Student Symposium, which also something that you guys should look into when you get into college. And I got a full trip to go to Telluride for free, but I needed help with travel. I asked Young Arts. They sent me some money for it, which was great. So and then since then, I actually got a full ride trip to Sundance in 2020. So I got to go to Sundance for free, and they treated us like royalty. I could get any tickets I wanted for any movie. If I wanted to go to any party, anything, I was able to go because of Young Arts, because Young Arts has a great program where they team up with Sundance Ignite, and it's basically like a fast track into Sundance Ignite. So if you guys know anything about Sundance or any of the emerging filmmaker programs they have going on, Young Arts literally puts you in like an exclusive like bridge into Sundance. So you can get into Sundance Ignite and just be a part of a much smaller curated list of filmmakers that are able to go, which is amazing. It was life-changing. So those are just some of the things that I experienced while I was with Young Arts, and since I've won, and I know that they can give the same to you guys. It's basically what you put in is what you get out of it. But for the most part, it's literally career support for every stage of your career, no matter how old you are. It's there with you for life. And then also you're opened up to an amazing network of other artists that you can collaborate with and also help you out with your career. So do I have any questions so far? I know I just said a lot, but does anything kind of strike anybody?
We're good so far.
Everything good?
Yeah.
Quick, I have a question.
Yes.
What was your, when you had to submit your portfolio to get into the college,
Mhm.
what were some of the things that you had in the portfolio?
So when it came to FSU Film School in specific, I know their application requires a one-page screenplay based on a prompt that they give you, 1,000-word personal journey essay, and then you have up to 10 minutes of film work that you could submit. Same goes for Young Arts, and we'll get into that, where it's up to 10 minutes of film work that you are a main creative position, but they tend to favor directing over anything because it's more of a directing program that they have for Young Arts Week. So in terms of college, my biggest thing that I like to tell students is writing. If you are able to pitch yourself on paper and be able to articulate the personal journey, I'll take that as an example for FSU, which is an amazing essay just to write that you could submit to different outlets. That personal journey essay and your personal journey into film, that is going to be the main thing that's going to strike a recruiter's fancy, is if they see your writing. They will overlook a shabby portfolio if the screenplay and the personal essay are on point. And mainly they want to see you. And I see you smiling because yes, writing is very, very important all across the board, whether it comes to film school, when it comes to scholarships, anything to get yourself forward is writing, especially in the film industry. Scripts are currency. Scripts are money. Nothing happens without a script. So you have to make sure that you can articulate yourself and pitch yourself in writing. So for me, for example, my personal journey essay for FSU Film that I thought was pretty awesome. I knocked it out in a couple hours in the middle of the night. I wrote about my experience growing up around Disney and my family being Disney obsessed and how that helped cultivate kind of a mindset of storytelling and world building within me that I wanted to express on film. So of course, my world building is not the same as Disney, way edgier, but I still was able to talk about how that journey of being able to go to the parks and feeling that full immersion translated into me want to make movies. So basically, when you're doing any kind of scholarship application, spend some time really thinking about who are you as an artist, and be completely honest, be 100% honest. They want to see you, who you are. They don't want you to try to act like somebody else. Don't try to assume who they want to submit. Because I'm going to be honest, when I started film school, I would look around and I see some people that have so much experience in film that were doing competitions and a whole bunch of different film curriculum when they were in high school, and other kids who never had any film experience at all, but they came in there being 100% themselves and having good writing pieces. So that's definitely very important. Also, I know for the FSU film application, if you make it to the level of interview, then they have you do some team building exercises to see how well you work in teams. So that's a big thing. It's writing and articulating yourself, being able to pitch yourself, which is instrumental in the film industry, is pitching. And then teamwork. And if you're able to work with other people, because you can't make movies on your own. And then comes the portfolio. So if you guys would like, I'm going to show you guys just a little video just to kind of get you in the mindset of what Young Arts is and gives you that like feeling of Young Arts in a second. So I'm going to share the screen real quick. So if you guys, let me know if you guys can see. You see our beautiful homepage, yes?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and now I'm gonna show you the original about video before I get into the film one. And just let me know if you guys can hear it. Hearing?
Hi guys, in less than 12 hours I will be at the airport on my way to Young Arts.
So it's currently 1:20 a.m. On the day that I'm gonna leave for Miami.
My Young Arts week debut look.
I'm ready. Young Arts, here I come.
Let's get lost at home, all alone. I'm hiding under your impress. Let's go searching for something in store.
I think I arrived really just not knowing what to expect in any way, kind of with a totally open mind.
The first day at Young Arts, I remember we just dove straight in.
So care. Find something in it that you relate to that makes you care.
You know, you find your people. Like you're just surrounded by all these people that are also creative minds.
I feel as though I've known them forever and I just met them on Monday.
Sweet, sweet love, sweeter than a flower.
The musicians and oh my god, the dancers. Oh my gosh, it was just like.
It's just a life-changing experience, honestly. I mean, it's so cliche to say, but it changes your life, it changes the way you think, it changes the way you feel about yourself and about others.
There have been many breakthrough moments. I certainly wasn't thinking about collaborating with other disciplines before going, and now that's like all I can think about.
The master teachers and the panelists give you new techniques that you can use throughout your whole life. They teach you in that way, like, here, you make it your own, and you make it better. We just gave you the outline of the blueprint. You make the house.
I think that Young Arts has taught me the value of seeing
as an artist and not just an actor or
performer.
Young Arts is really the signature organization that is giving these students all of the tools that they need to become artists.
This is joy, because this is what we're getting ready to give the world. You all are going to change the world. I depend on it. Damn it. Get out there and do something.
Now I have 140 other friends that I can really talk to about art and being passionate and ambitious and young.
It's been an incredible week, and I know everybody told me it's gonna change your life, and going and you think, oh, okay, but it really does.
That's our headquarters in Miami. There you go. All right. So sorry, y'all. I can't see you. So I'm trying to gauge what is your guys' reaction to everything that you've seen so far.
I mean, I'll just share with you. I see their eyes are glowing. This young lady had glasses on. I've never seen her with glasses on today. I mean, we got another kid who's not in the class who wants to get about film. Come around here. Come on, meet her. she said, Mrs. Parris, I'm serious. I'm a senior. I want to get into film. I said, why don't you stop by? And she came by. Can you see her?
Hello. Hi, nice to meet you.
And she's very serious about film. She started working on her project, and she's any questions in particular you might want to pass your way?
No, you've explained everything perfectly. Like, thank you so much. This has all been very helpful. So
Awesome, thank you. What's your name?
Alize Perez.
Alex?
Alize Perez.
Alize. Oh, I like that. Alize. I'm Christy, by the way. I don't know if I introduced myself. My name is Christy Chabadas. But yeah, beautiful. So do you guys want me to go into the nitty gritty of the application? Has anybody started their application yet? Or is this kind of the first time you're getting pushed to do it?
We got 1, 2, where's yeah, yes, we got about 2 in here, but some kid has a question. Come on up.
Yeah, I like that. If you have a question, I want to see your face.
Let's see the faces.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Julian. I'm getting really into film now that I'm in Paris, but I wanted to know, because obviously I want to apply to Young Arts for film, but also I'm in theater, so I wanted to know, can I do both, or can I only do one?
Yes, so you can apply to both. And so you can apply to both at the same time in the same year. Now, one thing I will say, so the application costs $30. Don't worry about it though, because all you got to do is get either a faculty member or your parents to write a letter basically saying this student needs a what do we call a fee waiver. Something as simple as that. This student name needs a fee waiver. And once you have that, you upload that PDF into the application and you're good to go. You don't have to pay. So you're all set. So just understand that every time that you apply, you have to make a new application per discipline. And then just make sure you upload that fee waiver each application so you don't get hit with $60 or,
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. And so do you guys do thespians? Do we have any theater people who do thespian competition?
Yes, we got 1, 2. Yep.
So basically, just like how you would do 2 contrasting monologues in thespians, you would submit the same thing for Young Arts. So the cool thing about theater is that what you guys do for thespian competition kind of goes hand in hand with the Young Arts application. So 2 contrasting, classical versus modern monologues is what they're looking for as well. When it goes to voice, there's certain specifications. But if you guys would like, I'm going to open up the film application requirements and kind of teach you how to navigate over there. Our website has been seeing some changes recently and it's a little bit harder to get to where we got to go. So I'm going to just push this down.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Do you recommend, let's say a kid is in the 10th grade and they got some potential. Do you recommend at least getting a taste of it, trying out, see if you can apply? And then maybe 10th grade, you get some more feedback, and then you do it 11th grade. And you eventually, instead of waiting for senior year and try to do it at once.
Oh, so here's the thing in that a rumor has been going around in New World that I need to debunk that my supervisor told me about. You do not have to only apply senior year. Get that out of here. No, you can apply every single year until you're 18 and you age out of it. It's grades 10 through 12, ages 15 to 18. So as long as you fall under those categories, you're great to apply. And something that's really cool that we have is I believe that when you apply, and let's say you make it up to about to be a finalist, all right, wow. They actually the judges will give you feedback on your work if you reach a certain level, but didn't quite make it. They will give you feedback for next year. So that's something that's very interesting. Now, I think that rumor has been going around about senior year in New World because of our presidential scholar in the arts, which I haven't mentioned yet. But so let's say you apply and you become a finalist. So in those 3 tiers, any of those 3 tiers gets to go to our Young Arts Week. Now for finalists has a second Young Arts Week, what we call our finals week in Miami, in the Miami campus. And so that week is a little bit more competitive. It's still the same vibe as the Young Arts Regional, but there's more, it's a little bit more intense because in finals week, that's where they decide the presidential scholar of the arts contestants. And then from there, whoever gets chosen for the presidential scholar in the arts in each discipline gets to perform and showcase their work at the Kennedy Center in another week-long, all expense paid trip. So there's 3 trips that you have the opportunity to be a part of when you apply. If you win merit or honorable mention, you get that 1 week. If you get to finals, you get 2 weeks. If you get to Presidential Scholar of the Arts, you go to the Kennedy Center. So Presidential Scholar of the Arts is only for seniors, but that doesn't mean that you only apply senior year. Because let's say if you're a junior and you're a finalist, the next round, next cycle, they will have you in consideration for Presidential Scholar in the Arts in your senior year. If you were a finalist your junior year, when it comes to senior year, they will still have you in the running for Presidential Scholar in the Arts. And I have a lot of students that I work with, a lot of winners that I work with. I see them 1 week in LA, and then I see them in finals week in Miami, and then I see them in another week in New York, because they just keep coming back. So that's the great thing, is that when you win once and you're still in the 15 to 18 range, you can keep going to Young Arts. They will love you. They want you to come. So it's not just a one-off and you're done. So keep that in mind. Just apply every year that you can. And so now you guys can see the screen, right? Where I'm on the film page for the application. Okay, cool. So right now, how you get to there, just because the website's a little weird now, you go to programs, then you go to competition, and then you click apply, right? And so now, and they have the film thing as the first one, which I love. And then go ahead to film discipline. And then you would go to eligibility. Oh, another cool thing is that before it was only for citizens that can apply, but now if you're DACA eligible, or if you're eligible to receive taxable income from the United States, you can apply, which is amazing. This is a new thing that came out. It's awesome. Okay. So now application requirements, artists, all this stuff. Great. So here we go. Let's see if click here. Okay, so application requirements. We have submit 1 main completed short film that you directed or animated, and a sectional optional film can be submitted where you either the director, animator, or cinematographer. So that's really important. This is a very directing based program. So I have seen 1 winner slip through the cracks who was an editor, but for the most part, they're looking for directors or DPs for that second film. Now you got to make sure that when you submit those films, both of them don't exceed 10 minutes. And if you just have 1, that's great. As long as it's under 10 minutes, you make it. Has to be in English or with English subtitles. They are both judged as a whole, not as separate units. And make sure you submit your strongest work, of course. There's not a minimum time limit, just as long as you don't go past 10 minutes. Now, they can be animation, documentary, narrative, or experimental. And make sure you have all of this information and you're very diligent with your applications. That goes with everything, that you're double, triple checking, that you're making sure you're having all your requirements. Because a lot of the times, if you miss one or if you do something wrong, then they'll just throw your application away. I'm not saying that's for Young Arts, but just any application in general, that's the mindset you need to have when making sure that you fit every single requirement to a T, because that's the first. Because imagine you're getting thousands of submissions from all over the country. So if they don't have those requirements in the garbage can, they don't even look at it. So make sure that you're very, very diligent with that. Check your work, of course, just like I said. Okay, so IP and copyright requirements. I'm not sure how your class works, but just make sure your music can be cleared and that we have no issues there. All copyright-free stuff. Also, if your work has been submitted to other competitions, you are responsible for getting permission to submit to Young Arts. Yeah, because sometimes you also got to be careful, especially when submitting your films to festivals and because some things can be sketchy. Make sure to always read the fine print when you submit something. Yeah, so then reviewers and panelists are looking for work that demonstrates an ability to effectively communicate your ideas, to tell a cohesive and coherent, engaging story, and present work that illustrates your imagination, artistic point of view, knowledge in video production, and appreciation of the moving image. And there we go. Submissions that do not have primary artistic focus on filmmaking will not be considered for an award. This includes video footage of stage plays, theater performances, and art installations. Right. So yeah, any questions about requirements or anything so far?
So it can be a documentary, a short film, narrative, stuff like that?
Narrative, experimental, animation, or documentary. I have a winner who she did like an animated dance hip hop movie that really had not a typical 3-act structure, and she won. She went very far with Young Arts. So as long as it expresses who you are as a filmmaker, they're not really picky when it comes to format or style. And it just, pardon?
We mentioned like the story. Does the story, how the person tells the story is important, like beginning, middle, end?
No. So like it says here, you could do experimental works as well. I mean, for me, it's just up to personal taste. But if that's your kind of thing, where you're more into experimental, you're more into that kind of, feeling, you got to put your audience in a feeling and have them feel what's going on the screen rather than following, a plot, that's cool too, as long as it shows who you are as an artist and it's your best work. But it doesn't have to be any kind of specific story structure. They really, Young Arts does a really good job of embracing the kind of experimental stage the young filmmakers are in right now. So they don't try to box you in with anything too rigid. So yeah, don't worry about that. Just to get a feel of the class. So who here is a director or DP?
Yeah, 1, 2. Got 2.
Yeah. Okay. And then just since that's everybody else, what do you guys like to do in movies?
Come on. Okay. Come on up if you guys, come on up, guys, come on up. It's very important they get to see your face. You never know. She might be somewhere like, oh, I remember you from Mr. Paris class. I'm gonna give you VIP access to the Young Arts Festival. Go ahead.
I like to direct, but I also really like to edit.
Okay, so if you have, so it's 2 films, max 2 films that you can submit under 10 minutes. You can submit one that's directing, and if you have one that you really like that you edited, oh no, in the submission it says no, as long as you're a director, animator, or cinematographer, stick to your directing work to submit.
Okay.
That it's a directing focused program, and if you're a DP, you just submit something you directed and something you DP. Yeah, so that's, I would say stick to the directing and make the directing strong. Do I have any questions about like if you think that your film works or not? Hi,
I'm David. So I'm an actor, but I really enjoy directing. I do both. I'm in musical theater, so I'm only really used to acting, but I really want to try my hand in directing,
Okay. So actually I'm hearing a lot of people that are into theater. So I'm going to pull up those application requirements as well, because the application does end on October 14th. Have you directed a film before? Do you have something that you could submit this year?
Yeah. A couple things that we're working on for Mr. Paris' class.
Okay, beautiful. Perfect. That works. So as long as you have something that you directed, you could submit into the film. And then if you guys want, if I have a good amount of people, I can go into the theater requirements as well for people who are interested in submitting into theater. Is that cool, Mr. Paris?
Yeah, that's cool. We got a lot of theaters in here. Yep.
Thank you.
Well, we got
no problem. Yeah, I know.
A lot of questions. They're coming, man. Something is happening here. Come on in.
So my question was about directing. I was thinking about directing like sort of a not a movie, short film, and I wanted to know because I want it to be not actually, but in the movie set in Spain. But do you think if it is in Spanish, obviously with English subtitles, do you think that would like sort of take off not necessarily points, but not be not be preferred?
No. As long as it has English subtitles, you're fine.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back again.
Yeah, no problem.
How many film applications can we send in? So let's say we have like more than 2 films. Could we do a second film application, or is it limited to 1?
No, it's just limited to 1 per year. Now I'd say pick your best, like your best of the best, and that's what you submit.
Okay.
And so of your preferred works. Yeah, you can't do multiple of the same. Now, let's say if you want to submit 2 of your best this year, and then next year you want to submit a couple other ones, you could definitely do that as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't know the last question.
But like, how much experience did you have before you submitted, like you applied to Young Arts?
So I learned about young arts. I learned about young arts my senior year of high school when I did this internship for a production company. And by then I had already like directed at least 2 shorts at the time. And I went to a public high school that had a pretty good film program that was on the up and up. So I was lucky that I had access to people and equipment. And I already had 2 short films I directed under my belt that I wrote and directed. So by the time I learned about young arts, I was already kind of pretty experienced in terms of, high school level. So, but in what grade are you in right now?
I'm a junior.
So you're a junior. Okay. So if you feel like you don't have the work, I'd say submit now. If you have work, whatever, submit this year just to try it out. Even if you feel like you're not too confident about it, you never know, they might like it. And then next year, just keep working on it and submit again next year. But in terms of experience, I definitely said that in my year when I applied to Young Arts, I had some experience already.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Now, do I have any other film questions before I move to theater real quick? Well, we could always circle back too.
Do you see a black thing on your screen, like this black box?
Black box on my screen. I'm screen sharing right now. Are you guys seeing the website or is it a black screen?
I see the website, but I see this black box on the.
What did it move?
Yeah, it moved. That whatever.
Oh
that
yeah,
box-
because that's the box where me and you our videos are. So I guess it's just, I'll just kind of put it in like a place where.
Yeah, put it small.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're in application requirements. Theater, does everybody know how to get to? Also, our website, youngarts.org. When I'm in person, I'm normally like way more active and like dancey. So I do a little thing where I have the whole class go youngarts.org, youngarts.org. And then you guys sing it back to me, but so you can remember the website. So just remember youngarts.org. And then now we're in the theater application requirements. Open it up here. All right, here's where it gets real nitty gritty. Film is kind of simple compared to the other applications. So selections should demonstrate your versatility as an actor. Each piece should be presented in character and performed in context to the show's plot. All audition submissions must be memorized and in English. When choosing material, we encourage you to showcase work that is meaningful to you rather than to the panelist. Remember, always be true to yourself. All applicants must submit 2 separate digital video recorded monologues to include the following and in the following order. 1 contemporary monologue not to exceed 2 minutes from a play, not a musical, written during or after 1910 and spoken by a character within your natural age range. 1 classical monologue that does not exceed 2 minutes from a play written before 1910 and spoken by a character within your natural age range. So that's really important, the natural age range part. So don't do a monologue where you're an old lady that's suffering with Alzheimer's. You do something that's within your wheelhouse. So that's like, in the 20s. I wouldn't say, like maybe early 30s, but just 20s to teen, that kind of is your range. So that's important too, because I know that's not really a requirement in thespians, but it is in young arts. So gender roles can be fluid as well, and it should not take away the authenticity of the character. So just doesn't matter what gender the character is, you could perform it, which is really cool. So now, if you are musical theater, you have to submit your 2 monologues, your contemporary and your classical, in separate videos. And then if you are musical theater, then you submit a 3rd video or 2 other separate videos of contrasting song selections. So again, this is in addition to both monologues. So musical theater selection of 2 separate digital recorded contrasting song selections, 32 bars or 1 minute, 15 seconds each. That must be from a book musical, which is also a requirement in thespian. So you shouldn't be too unaware of that. Not a song cycle or a review, should show arc of the character with a beginning, middle, and end, no original material. 1 legit style song cut from a musical theater canon, standard Broadway repertoire can include Rodgers Hammerstein, Rodgers and Cart and Hammerstein, Lerner and Lowe, Stephen Sondheim, all those great people, Duke Ellington. And so they are looking to see vocal and emotional range. And then, so basically 1 legit style song, 1 classic musical theater song, and then 1 more contemporary musical theater published contemporary piece, either rock, pop, hip hop. So let's say if you want to do, Bye Bye Birdie for one song, and then you do Hamilton. That's would be considered contemporary, like Hamilton or Wicked, things like that. So if you are selected as a finalist, you must be prepared to perform your submitted selections during Young Arts Week. And okay, so accompaniment. So accompaniment is limited to one piano or pre-recorded format, which is really good because it used to be you had to have a piano accompanist, but now you could have a pre-recorded accompaniment, if I'm saying that right, without any background vocals. Do not include the accompanist in your frame, and do not perform songs a cappella. They have to be with a track behind it. Now, I know this is a lot. Do I have any questions so far? Of theater.
Yeah.
Quick, question.
Yes,
Yes.
I have a question. I'm in theater.
Mhm.
So for the age range, is that very strict? Because I'm considering one piece contemporary, where the age is somewhat ambiguous. If you play the character as someone in your natural age range, would that be all right?
I think that could be okay. That's a very specific question. I'm actually going to write that down and get somebody who specializes in theater to answer that for you. So let's say if you have, now what's the piece exactly?
From Waiting for Godot. I mean, they say they're older.
Waiting for Godot?
Yeah, they say
Okay.
they're older, but it's somewhat ambiguous, I suppose.
A piece for a character whose age is ambiguous. Can they do it, but play it in their age range? Okay, that's a really good question. I'm gonna follow up with you about that because I don't have an exact one right now, but I'll make sure to send an email to Mr. Paris with an answer from a theater special.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And so here, now you guys are in film class, so these requirements are going to be too crazy for you, but this is basically all the guidelines for recording an audition. They're pretty specific, so make sure you do your due diligence. You see clothing, framing, lighting, sounds. It's a whole little production that you're going to do to record these pieces, but it's pretty simple. And yeah, you'll see, as you see, there's a whole bunch of little different things. Props are limited to one stool, fixed point of view. Don't embellish the music, sing the notes that are on the page. Yeah, so don't embellish. They want to see your range without embellishment, and record your audition in an interior space and in front of a non-distracting background. So basically the basics of any audition video that you're going to submit as an actor to any production companies or studios or any agencies, it's basically the same rules apply. So this is also really good practice for when you guys start getting into the industry and you start auditioning. They have some specifics on acoustics, lighting, framing, nothing that crazy, but just make sure that you're doing it in a good space to film something and to hear something. Yep. Also make sure you watch playback so you know what's going on. Do not edit the piece. No dissolves, fades, or wipes in the editing. So no transitions, just jump it. Do not submit pre-recorded live performances, recitals, concerts, or competitions. Has to be filmed just for Young Arts. So yeah, and what they're looking for: ability, theatrical presence and style, demonstrated concentration and control of the material, flexibility and versatility of voice, movement, expression, vocal and physical phrasing, and articulation will also be evaluated. So again, this is for theater, it's very specific. So make sure you guys, film is a little easier. You submit your work and, answer some demographic questions and you're pretty good to go, So yeah, the film's like, you see this, look at this. And then film's much longer. So yeah, do I have any other questions so far or anything else you guys want me to touch on? Young Arts or not, honestly, like I'm here to talk about Young Arts, but I also want to encourage you to apply to other scholarships as well. Yes.
Got another.
Hello, so I came in late because I was doing a virtual information thing for a school I'm applying to, but I'm submitting something to film, and I was wondering, so it's slower and more of a character study. It has plot, but it's a little less plot oriented than winners I've seen in the past. Would that affect my submission? Like, would that affect my submission, or is it just they'll like the films they like? Like, does it have to follow a specific formula?
No, it doesn't have to follow a specific formula. Again, in the application requirements, it says it can be experimental. So I guess that would kind of go in the experimental category. But I've seen winners work where there is no story and it's just following a girl dancing hip hop around the city with like animation on her and that one. So you should be fine.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, good question. How do you get your mind, let's say you were getting ready to submit, how do you develop a mindset to develop the work and tackle all the other responsibilities that you have going on in school? Like how do you balance time management and what advice you have for kids? Because I know they say, oh, I got a lot going on. What advice do you have for these students? So,
great question.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a little background on what kind of high schooler I was. I danced in a ballet company that took up 8 hours of my week. I danced pretty much every day. I also was a part of thespians and theater, and I did a film club and I was in a film class. So basically what kind of happened was my senior year, I always knew I wanted to be a filmmaker. So my senior year, I kind of put my dance and theater to the side and more focused on film. But I also was a very active social child as well. So I got good grades. So in terms of time management, what I could tell you to get into yourself into that mindset is prioritize. So right now, if you're thinking about going to college, which I know a lot of you are, but times are changing. But if you're thinking about going to college, what I did was I took 1 hour every week and I spent time on the computer and I did research on internships, scholarships, and any other kind of financial opportunities that can help me out in college or can help me out in my career to make me a more competitive, applicant for film school. So I dedicated an hour a week, my junior and senior year, to just on Google internet. I found out about Young Arts because I sent a cold email to a production company that I thought looked good. And I asked them if they needed interns. They said they did. They had me come in for a day and they had me shoot a live Young Arts performance. And then they were like, you are 17 years old. Like, instead of this internship, why don't you like go downstairs and meet the Young Arts people? And so I did, and I had Young Arts in my head and I applied within that week. So basically it's just put yourself out there, create. And I also don't want to be the person because I know your generation has a lot of pressure on creating your personal branding. And with the pandemic, it's a lot of pressure on you guys. So I don't want to be somebody that pushes that, but what I will push is to be able to articulate yourself in an email, in an essay. Build your portfolio on the internet. So if that comes with making a free website with your work or, getting your kind of social media to be more tailored to who you are as an artist rather than just fun things. I mean, I made a separate account for fun stuff and then made my public one all about my work, and just put yourself out there. Do cold emails, do cold calls. I own 2 production companies and I get high school kids all the time who send me emails with their resume and with their work. And just don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Use the internet to your advantage and spend an hour a week or some kind of equivalent just researching. I was kind of obsessed with researching stuff all the time. And to me, that took priority over a lot of things. So in terms of time management, I did a lot and I was all over the place in high school, but I took the time when I was at home and my free time and I spent an hour and just would look at things. And also good thing I can recommend is go to office hours of a guidance counselor and do a one-on-one session with a guidance counselor. If you take the initiative, I don't know how things work at New World, but at least in a public high school like I went to, I took the initiative and I developed a relationship with a guidance counselor where I'd go to her office and I let her know I am interested in scholarships. Put me on your email list, put me on an email blast, like think about me when it comes to scholarships. She ended up sending me a scholarship opportunity. I wrote a little essay how I volunteered at an aviation summer camp. I got $5,000 my freshman year of college. I remember I was on campus. I was walking around Landis Green and I got a call from the South Florida Business Aviation Association. I am not in aviation. They gave me $5,000. I was the first one to get their scholarship because I made a relationship with my guidance counselor in high school, and she put me on an email blast that sent me that scholarship because I took the initiative to take the extra step.
Wow.
So that's all it really is.
Wow. Listen, I want to say, love your energy, love your passion. I want to say thank you for sharing this valuable information. I know we got maybe about to head out of here in 5 minutes, but any other questions for the call? We got one more kid.
Hi, first I just wanted to say thank you so much. And I was wondering if I can get your contact information in case I need any help with like.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's a great segue. So my email is ctrabata, TRA, B as in boy, A, D as in dog, A. I'll type if anything.
I give it to her. I have it.
Yeah, give them my email. Also, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, you can DM me too at Trabadas. It's TRABADASS. And that's my Instagram, where most of my work is. If you'd like to, I want to let you guys know who I am. I'm a filmmaker in Miami. I have worked with HBO, the Mark Wahlberg Foundation. I own 2 production companies, and I'm doing everything I can to help create a bigger film industry down here. I do a lot of producing and writing and production management, as well as directing. And I do a lot of work professionally down here as a filmmaker, and just trying to get those streaming deals and, writing features and TV pilots and things like that. So if you guys have any other questions about what it's like to be a professional in Florida in film, then you could reach out to me as well.
Quick question on the just maybe real quick. How important is the business aspect of you make films, you do all this stuff, but the business aspect is one component that we kind of miss a lot in high school.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that for kids going into the industry?
So I get kind of mixed about that, because at the end of the day, I would like to encourage students to just focus on the art and creating who they are as an artist, but be able to put yourself out there, send those emails, take that time on the internet. But when it comes to business and money right now, you guys don't have to worry about it. And that is a beautiful, sweet spot to be in, where you can just make whatever you want with what you have. And that kind of energy is really, really good to start off with, because then once you start getting into where you need budgets and you need big crews and you got to fly out people first class because they're union and they're, sassy, you don't have to worry about that right now. So right now, focus on the work, focus on who you are as an artist, be experimental, get out of story structure, do all that, because you have plenty of time to get into the nitty and gritty, especially when you go into film school. So I suggest just make sure you articulate yourself, who you are as an artist, put yourself out there and focus on creating with the limited resources that you have. And then you can worry about that business stuff later, but business wise, right now, just put yourself out there.
Wonderful. Listen, I want to say thank you so much for your time. I think it's been valuable information for the students, and we're gonna stay in contact. Definitely, I'm gonna send you the key individuals that we talk about, so you have
Yes, please.
those kids.
Also, so my supervisor, after every presentation, she'd like to have the roster of the students that I spoke to, so they can kind of track who applies and things like that. So they can see kind of presentation progress. So if I can get that list as well, that'd be awesome. But yeah, any standout students that are definitely going to apply, send them my way. If you guys have any questions, I'm here for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can say thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great day. Be safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Who just said?